Welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah. This is Brown Family Goods, and today we're going to make a chicken and sausage gumbo and some potato salad. Here in Louisiana, you can find gumbo on the menu year-round, really, but I'm particularly inspired to make it at home when the weather starts to cool down and we're ready for some hearty and comforting dishes. The dish begins with the roux, of course. That's just a mixture of flour and oil. It's cooked until it's a really deep brown color with this rich and nutty smell. So while the roux cooks, you should plan to give it a stir every couple of minutes for about 20 or 30 minutes until it reaches that perfect color. So if you don't think you'll feel like spending the time to stand at the stovetop for that long, you can usually find jarred roux on the grocery store shelf. So check that out in your local grocery store. Now, depending on where you are, it may or may not be there. So I started my chicken in the Instant Pot this morning before I left for work. I just put the chicken in with some salt and some celery along with about 2 or 3 quarts of water. That way we'd have a nice chicken stock to use in our gumbo later. I cooked it on high pressure for about an hour to get a really flavorful broth and really fall off the bone tender chicken. So once I got home from work, I took the chicken out of the pressure cooker and I just strained the broth and set it all aside until later. At the same time that we wait on the roux to get ready and keep stirring, we're going to do a few other things like get the rice ready, the potatoes going for the potato salad. Commonly though, here in Louisiana, you'll find potato salad served right alongside gumbo. And a big pot of gumbo and a tub of potato salad can basically get you through the week. Today, we're going to make a reasonable sized pot with about 1 pound of sausage and the meat from a whole chicken. So you'll still get 8 or 10 bowl sized portions from this recipe though, so it is a pretty good size. Speaking of the recipes, you can find the links to the printable recipes down in the description box, or just check out my recipe website, brownfamilyrecipes.com. First, I'm going to get about 3 pounds of potatoes ready for the potato salad. So I just peel them and then I cut them into some good sized chunks, and then I put them on the stovetop to boil until they're basically fork tender. Now that the roux is nice and dark in color, we can turn the heat down and slowly put in what we call the Holy Trinity here in Louisiana: onion, bell pepper, and celery. Now for us, we have a really convenient, since it's really popular here to use this mixture, we have a brand called Guidry's that you can buy on the grocery store shelf. Right in the produce section, there's always tubs of Guidry's with chopped up onions, bell pepper, and celery ready to go. But if you're doing this for yourself, you'll want to cut up about 1 large onion, 1 large bell pepper, and a couple of stalks of celery, and just use that. I'm going to put about 6 eggs in my little egg cooker. And while I don't really like adding extra gadgets to my cupboards in the kitchen, I do like this one. It's totally hands-off cooking for your eggs. But just remember, if your eggs are super fresh like mine, they are not going to peel well. That's okay for this potato salad because everything's going to get chopped up and go in there, but you'll never know. But just know in general, they're not going to peel well. So while the potatoes are boiling and the Trinity is starting to soften up in the roux, I'm going to go ahead and slice up my smoked sausage and work on pulling my chicken off the bone. So I just do about 1/2 or 1/4 inch slices of the sausage, set that aside until I'm ready to put that in. For the sausage, you can use andouille sausage or just any kind of smoked sausage that you like. The smoked sausage is what adds so much flavor to your gumbo. Locally, we have tons and tons of brands of sort of Cajun smoked sausage. I don't prefer andouille, so I do typically get smoked sausage for mine, but just get what you like. If you know that you like whatever brand of smoked sausage, get that. It'll be great in your gumbo. into the roux with the vegetables that have softened up for about, maybe 5 or 7 minutes at this point. I go ahead and put down the smoked sausage into there as well. I just like to get that started heating through and warming up. That way we start to get a lot of flavor from the sausage out. Then I'm going to get back to this chicken and just pull it off the bone and leave behind any bits that I don't want. So this is plenty of chicken for a good sized pot of gumbo. At the same time as I'm pulling the chicken, the potatoes are done. As I said before, just check them with a fork and make sure that they're fork tender, but don't overcook them because you do still want them to have a little bit of shape in that potato salad. You don't want them to break down totally into mashed potatoes. So we'll just jump back to the gumbo here for a minute and pour in about what ended up being for me about 12 cups, I believe, of that chicken stock that we made earlier in the Instant Pot. If you want to use a boxed chicken stock, you certainly could do that, or you could just use water. Just throw in a couple of tablespoons of the Better Than Bouillon chicken base. Something like that works great too. So I'm going to save a little bit of this back because I didn't want to overdo it with the water. I like my gumbo a little bit on the thicker side rather than the soupier side. So you just choose for yourself how you want yours, a little thinner or a little thicker, and adjust the liquids accordingly. So I'll have the base recipe and you can totally go from there up or down. After I've added in the chicken stock in the amount that I wanted, like I said, probably around 12 cups, I believe, then I will go ahead and put in the cooked chicken. You could totally wait until later if you like your chicken in bigger pieces. I don't mind if mine gets broken down a little bit. In fact, I prefer it that way. But if you want it to stay in a lot bigger, more whole pieces, then just wait until the gumbo is almost completely cooked, where you like it in thickness and everything. About an hour of simmering is what you'll need to achieve that. And then put the chicken in just before you serve it, maybe 10 minutes before you serve, just so that it gets nice and hot and heated through. So I just stir it all together, and then I'm going to start to add in some seasonings for flavor. Now this is all to taste, I would say, but I can tell you what I put in. So I start with some Cajun seasoning. This is some Tony's, but you could also use Slap Your Mama, whatever kind of Cajun seasoning that you can find locally to you is completely fine. These are typically pretty salty unless you get a no salt version, so you won't need to add a ton of salt if you add Cajun seasoning. Also add in some onion powder. I will add some garlic powder, black pepper. I like to put a tiny bit of thyme in mine, so I probably added a 1/4 teaspoon or so here. Not too much because it is pretty powerful when you use dried thyme. I also add in some browning sauce. Now you can use a Liquid Bouquet. This is a local brand to us that I poured in, but I put about 3 teaspoons in, probably a tablespoon overall, and it really enhances the color of the gumbo and it adds a good depth of flavor. So the key to a good gumbo is really just time. It takes at least an hour or so of simmering. If you can let it go longer than that, you should. The flavor really comes out from the sausage and it adds to the whole pot. Okay, so our gumbo is going to just simmer away in the background, and I am going to tackle the potato salad dressing. So once I fought through and peeled the eggs, then I just set them aside for a minute till I was ready to get back to them. What I do though is I separate the yolks from the whites of the hard-boiled eggs, and I like to mix the yolks in with the actual dressing of the potato salad. I just feel like it sort of makes it more homogeneous when you put it all together. So I'm using some dill relish today, but you can also use sweet relish if you prefer that flavor. I was almost out of mustard. I had no idea, but really the only ingredients for the dressing are the ones that you see here: mayonnaise, mustard, a little bit of relish, and some seasonings. You could always add in some fresh chopped onion or some green onions to this as well. Those would both be excellent additions. A lot of the same seasonings that I used in the gumbo are going to go into the potato salad dressing as well. Just chopped up the egg whites there with my fork, and they broke down pretty easily since the eggs are so fresh. They tend to stay a little bit softer when they're boiled. For some seasonings, I used a lot of the same things that I used in the gumbo: some Cajun seasoning, some salt, some pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. And now it's time to add the potatoes, and we're just going to really gently fold together the potato salad. Now my potatoes, since they had cooled down quite a bit, were not breaking down very much, so some of them I had to kind of cut with my spoon here because they were still in pretty good sized chunks. And you'll see when I go to serve this up, I'm going to put the potato salad right in the bowl with the gumbo. That is the traditional way around here, because sometimes you never really know if you're getting gumbo from somebody else. It might be really spicy and you kind of need that potato salad to cool you down a little bit. So you can up the spice to this as much as you want, but I hope that you will enjoy this recipe. Then it'll bring you a little piece of Louisiana comfort food into your home. So if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more family recipes and Southern comfort food. So don't forget to check out the links in the description below also for the full printable recipes. And I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again real soon.